Hello, my good friends. Today is going to be a little bit of a revelation to you, I hope, and to me as well. Because as I started to study different conditions that people have, and their different, afflictions, and why these things happen to certain people, not to other people, and then I started to try to figure out what does actually being sick mean. What does it mean to be sick? Are you in a perpetual state of sickness and you just get sicker, or you get less sick? Or is there some invasive thing that happens specifically? Now, that does appear to be the case in a lot of cases. You get the flu and you get these little, as my son used to call them, sickers attacking you, which is some kind of biological thing. But then you have toxins in the environment. You have infections and invasions and all kinds of bacterial this and, they got to call all kinds of names for everything. So I want to start right from the basics. What is sickness, first of all, and what is an infection? The absolute basics, and because we got to understand this right here: MRSA and other drug-resistant diseases. All right, there's certain ways of attacking diseases. You say, "Oh, I'm going to take a pill." Well, what does a pill do? What's in the pill? All right, how does a pill work? How does it kill the disease? These are all the things I want to know. I want to know why they had penicillin at a time. What is that? What's penicillin? Well, it's mold. Well, it's mold. It's bacteria. Well, what's a bacteria? Well, how does that work? If you look into that, it creates an enzyme. Now, I have been talking about enzymes coming out of my ears because enzymes are the byproduct of bacteria. Enzymes create bacteria create enzymes. Well, what do enzymes do? What are they? What is an enzyme? Well, an enzyme is a chemistry set. It is nothing but a molecule. It's not alive. It doesn't breathe. It doesn't eat. It doesn't do anything other than do specific chemistry. And what is that specific chemistry? It depends on the bacteria. The bacteria is literally created for that job. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care what you put anybody in front of me, and I'll make that statement. And I can stand behind it because bacteria create enzymes. Of course, they live. They poop, which is the animal that they're living inside of, uses that. Because it's down into the molecular size, they can live off of that stuff. And also the bacteria creates slime to protect you from invasive toxins, which it protects itself at the same time. And they line all your membranes if you are healthy. If you are not healthy, you have membranes that do not have the correct bacteria, they do not have the enzymes, they do not have the mucus to protect you. You are under assault. You are under assault. Your membrane is being invaded. It's being breached. It's being overrun. All right? It's your defenses. It's supposed to be there. It has things that are built into it in that specific location where it lives. They don't just live in your fingernails and in your eyeballs, the same stuff. Absolutely not. You have bacteria that is designed to inhabit certain regions where they do certain protective chemistry. And if they are not there, you are not protected. And if they are not there, somebody else is going to be there. And usually the other guys that come in there saying, whoa, look at this place, man. We're just going to take over. This is great. And then they have a party and you pay the price. Now, how do you deal with that? How do you get your bacteria back in there to fight these guys? Because I'm telling you right now, inside of you is nothing but chemical warfare. Bacteriological warfare, germ warfare. Now, what do the germs do? They're the bacteria. What do? They create the protective agents for you. They create your guards, the mucus. They create your weapons, the enzymes. They create the guys that carry them around, which are the transition metal compounds. Somehow they are doing this under somebody's control. There's a general in charge somewhere. I'm going to tell you that, no question whatsoever, because they cannot create all these things and just spew them all over your body in any certain place and any way they want, and then expect you to even survive that. And here's what happens, is when you take the antibiotics, you have wiped out your armies. The armies are gone. Now, can you repopulate those armies quick enough to keep the invaders from occupying your territories? It literally is what it is. I'm telling you, you are nothing but a war going on inside of you. It is germ warfare. All right, so this is the introduction to this, because this gets a little tricky. Everybody gets very tricky, because how does these things get attacked? How do they know to go after these guys? And how can we intervene after the damage is done? Because I now feel very certain, from working with some people taking probiotics and certain little bits of chemistry that is just not no big deal, like organic sulfur, which is a perfectly legitimate molecule, and water silica, perfectly legitimate molecule in your body, and these probiotics, which you need these probiotics to break apart the stuff that's in your body. Now, if you don't have those enzymes coming out of your membranes, you have to supplement them with these other things. And we've been doing it with the Primal Defense primarily. And again, I don't have any interest in the company. I don't have no money whatsoever. And it's this stuff here that I don't really take it that often, because I don't feel any need to take it that often. But a lot of people have digestive issues, and the kids with autism, and virtually every disease, you're going to have some digestive component. You may not even realize it. But if you take the probiotics and these little supplemental things, just tiny little things, certainly can't hurt you that I am aware of. And I can tell you that they seem to have beneficial effects, and it's just up to anybody to make their own determination. I'm not saying take anything special or don't take anything. These are just things that we're talking about as a community, and that's all we're doing. We're not, I'm not a doctor, so I have a different mindset than a doctor, which I think is a beneficial thing for everybody concerned, because once you get into that mindset of, we got to come up with some kind of chemistry to deal with this, well, I go back to, I say, somebody was made to kill that thing. I know that some people are not getting sick and other people are getting sick. Let's start there. Why? What's in that guy's body? What bacteria does he have? Why is he not getting sick? I'm going to tell you something else. I know I'm babbling on here, but we're working inside the gut, and we're saying, how do we extract the things from the gut that we need to make us healthy? And then the doctors say, well, you need this, you need that, you need this other thing, and then without that, you're just going to die. Well, let's talk about that. What's a balanced diet? Well, a balanced diet makes you get all of the little chemistry that is required to make your body healthy. And what makes you healthy? Well, your bones have to have certain molecules that do it, and they call them kerogens and collagens and keratins. All right, there's fibers and fluids and mixes of different chemistry that bond together to make your bones work, and create tendons and skin and all of the different. It's like a chemistry set. And there's like 25, 26 of each of them, something like that. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I looked at that. But there's a lot of different chemistry that you can call on to make fingernails and eyeballs and ears, or all that stuff. Now, so how do you get that stuff in that condition where you can use it? Because all you're doing is eating. So something's got to happen between eating and turning it into an eyeball. All right, that's where I start looking. And it appears to be these enzymes, and as far as I can determine, these enzymes are the only thing that, well, I can't say the only thing, but they are the stepping stones from chunks of matter, like that bonehead, the mudfossil bonehead, from this into something you can use in your body, which would be a little bit of phosphorus and some iron and some calcium and so all the bits and pieces. Because right now, there's no way in the world you're going to use that. None. So how does it break in these little bits of, who's going to come over there and chisel off a piece of oxygen, chisel off a piece of phosphorus, chisel off a piece of calcium, some magnesium over here, a little bit of silver over there? How's that going to happen? Well, I can tell you exactly how it happens. It's these guys right here. You see this? Lactobacillus acrophilus, Lactobacillus ramescus, Lactobacillus, all of these different, these are only lactobacillus. These are different, and they break things up. So when you eat, these things attack the hell out of the food you just ate, and then it makes it into something you can use. So if you don't have some of these, some of the food you have just goes right through. That's basically what it all boils down to when you take it to the end of the road. So we need to know what is in a healthy person, what isn't in a healthy person. How do we get him back into a healthy person? We might be able to supplement them forever, and we've been doing that with some people that have autism, and it's beneficial, but it's an ongoing thing. So how do you reinfuse this stuff back into that membrane? Those membranes are hundreds of layers minimum, and between those layers are living little creatures that we call bacteria. Now, either they're good or they're bad, or there's nothing there. If there's nothing, you're going to end up getting invaded by some toxic chemistry. Will eat its way through there. Absolutely no question. If it is not slimed over with good bacteria that protect you and create enzymes, you're going to be sick. And if it's invaded by the nastiest of bugs, you are going to die. Because you won't be able to, that's a foothold that's very, very difficult. I'm going to show you, hold on one second, of consuming well, it appears to me that your body has nothing to do with what you consume. I think it's in your bacteria. And I read an extensive article about Inuit Eskimos, that this guy went and lived with them, like it was in the late 1800s, something like this. He went to try to find out all these different cultures and so forth. He said they were the most healthy people he's ever seen on the face of the planet. The things that they could survive and do, and the health that they had, and all they ate was like raw blubber and stuff. I mean, they had no vegetables. There's nothing like that up there. So, we're always told you're going to get scurvy, you're going to die if you don't eat some lettuce every day. Well, maybe in our gut scenario, absolutely, I agree. You have to have these things. They do seem to cause issues. Now, they say that these Inuits have it's got to be bacteria, that is able to break down the actual chemistry that is in some of these fats that we're not able to process. And they somehow extract them out of there. They eat raw liver and everything else. I mean, they get all kinds of raw things, and I believe they eat the spinal things, and I mean all kinds of things, brain tissues, and which everything. I mean, inside of you is everything. That's all there is you inside of you. And if somebody ate you, they would have everything that was in you. It's like when I say, I want eggs. I mean that after whatever comes out of that shell is a whole entire creature. It's not just an egg and a yolk. It's a creature in there. Well, it's going to be a creature. So why can't it be part of my creature? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it makes total sense that they have adapted their biology. And I have a friend that he runs the bacterial labs for testing the food services, and he goes back and forth to Mexico a lot because they're trying to get their food testing up to snuff, and he's selling, or I don't know if he sells them, but he's installing labs and things down there. Anyway, he says that if a person in those areas, they live there all the time, they don't get sick, but you go down there and you drink the water down there, you get sick as hell. You have to get the bacteria adapted for the conditions that you live under. And now, somehow we've destroyed the bacteria, or we're messing with that. And then they're trying to fix you by doing something else to you, and it's just not working. You got to get that fixed first, the bacteria. And I think in the next section that's coming up here, I do have some recommendations, and maybe they'll work, maybe they won't. We'll have to see. I just want to explain to you that the layers of tissue in these membranes is absolutely staggering. This is the esophagus, this is the stomach, this is the small intestine, and that is the rectum. And they all have absorptive and different pathways of allowing things to pass through the membranes, excluding things, keeping things from being able to create toxic environment to hurt this. There's bacteria living in here that are creating enzymes, and they just shoot right out of here. You start eating, and Pavlov's dog, he started excreting saliva as soon as you heard the dinner bell. I mean, it's just, you react. Your body knows what to do, and these things are loaded with secretions and enzymes and bacteria and different products that are designed to facilitate the breakdown and absorption of the things that you need and the exclusion of the things that will hurt you. Simple as that. It reabsorbs water. When it does that, it has to separate things from the water, the different toxic acids and so forth, uric acid and this and that. Well, how does it deal with that? The tubing and all the stuff in your body is designed for that type of chemistry in that particular area. So you're not going to have a certain type of tubing in one area that has acids where another area has salts. That is the design of the human body, is designed to be able to withstand these certain chemistries in these certain areas. Now, that requires some certain molecules. How do you get those molecules? Remember the enzymes? How do you get the enzymes? Remember the bacteria? Every road leads to bacteria. I'm just telling you. We're just nothing but a big bag of bacteria. And if it's not right place in the right time in the right quantities, you're going to be sick. And if you let the bad guys get in and they overwhelm your good guys, you're going to die. All right? And in the meantime, you're just going to be miserable. All right, so why don't we figure out a way? Because I know this is not rocket science. All right, rocket science isn't even rocket science anymore. There's not very much that is what it is anymore. I'm not kidding you. It's unbelievable. But we need to look at this in a whole new way. Everything, I mean, seriously, everything that we are doing, everything that we are thinking, everything that we are feeling about what we feel comfortable about. Let's just go to that range. Let's everybody stop and say, what do I feel? Absolutely no question. I'm certain about. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you come to me with that thing, and then let's talk, because I'm finding there's a lot we thought. And we felt comfortable with it. Nobody was trying to lie to anybody. Some people were, but let's be kind about it and say it was just an accident. We all make mistakes, and now we're in a point where we just have to re-examine things. And you're 100 times smarter when you start asking questions than a guy that comes up and says you shouldn't be asking these questions. That guy is a moron. And I'm telling you, they are out there in extreme quantities that have no interest whatsoever in questioning what they were told. Now that is a dangerous person to me. If you never question what you're told, you're dangerous. You're dangerous. There's no other way to get around it. This older guy doesn't question what he's told. He's just, to me that's not very intelligent, but it is literally dangerous. And it's having an effect on people for health, for everything. Question what you're being told is what, I mean, I started a lot of groups about questioning things, and it attracted some people that were just trying to start trouble with everybody. So question logically. Look and see what you see. Don't just start fights for no reason. I'm not starting fights for no reason. Look at this. I do this all the time, all day long. Well, not all day long. Sometimes I eat. All right, now, it's just a case of trying to find reality and hoping find eternities, really. I got to be honest with you. That is what I'm looking for right now. I think I found reality. Now, what does it mean to the rest of my existence? What does it mean to your existence? But in the meantime, I sure like to be healthy, and I have been. I'm healthy myself, so I'd like to see everybody healthy. Honestly, I mean, I've been blessed. I'm very, very, very blessed, and my kids, they're healthy. My wife's healthy. I mean, but my wife feeds us very, very, very well. And that is really, in my mind, as you've heard me say a bazillion times, we're a chemical factory. You get products delivered, you chew them up, and then they go through your system. And then when they're in your system, your workers are your bacteria, and they do the job. And all of the walls have to be built to keep all the nasty stuff away from the good stuff, and it's just a factory. And by the time it's done, you have poop, and that is your stuff that everything ends up having some kind of refuse that you have to get rid of. It really is that simple. Now, how are we going to figure out what bacteria affect what other things? And again, I think I might have said this before, but penicillin is a perfect example. It's just nothing more than a mold. It's a bacteria. It creates an enzyme. It's called penicillase, I think. They always put the ace on the end of it, which is one of these reductases, which means it reduces a chemical. It does a reduction of a chemical. And what was that chemical? It was in the cell wall of a bacteria, which was an enemy of this guy. So the penicillin bacteria created an enzyme. The enzyme goes after another bacteria and breaks down its cell wall. It dies. Now, we're into a situation now where there's very few devices that they have that are effective against bacteria and things, because they've become intelligent enough to realize, hey, these guys got, it's just like us saying, well, the guy's got tanks. We'll say, well, we'll make an anti-tank weapon. So the guy's got an anti-tank weapon. We'll make an anti-tank weapon. And it goes like that back and forth until you get to the point where you can't figure out how you're going to stop that guy. And that's where we are now with these antibiotics. We ran out of, they're smarter than we thought. Right? It's germ warfare. And now we got, and I think they're trying to make a decision that is a poor decision based on the fact of chemistry. Let's just make another chemical and put it in there. Well, that chemical is going to have an effect on something else. Now, even the enzymes that come out of these different antibiotics, obviously they're going killing something. So maybe they're going to kill something else when they kill the thing that you want it to kill. And that might have to happen. And then you may have to repopulate that thing. But if you can get these, can understand these cascading events, this is what it is. It's a cascading event. Once you set it in motion, there's a lot of things happen. And I think there's a lot more research that could be done to find out what bacterias invade what different types of tissues and what fight off other bacteria. And then, you know, I know they've done a lot of that, but I don't think there's, I don't think that is a focus anymore. I think there's different focuses of chemistry, chemotherapies, where they inject it into your veins and they let it eat away, really, at a lot of things. I mean, I think I got to be honest with you. I really, at this point, I don't know how they're treating cancer anymore. But I know that it's a lot of people getting it. And I believe it's primarily based on the fact that bacteria is not available to protect you. I'm just going to have to leave it at that.